mantras of our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, please remember that I have all along been declaring an integral yoga in which knowledge, bhakti, works, the lights of consciousness, ananda and love, will and power in works, meditation, adoration, service of the divine have their place. With always our love and blessings, says our Lord. Shri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo's Savitri. The Book of the Divine Mother, page 357. Thus was a seed cast into endless time. A word is spoken or a light is shown. A moment sees the ages toil to express. So, flashing out of the timeless leap the worlds, an eternal instant is the cause of the years. All he had done was to prepare a field. His small beginnings asked for a mighty end. For all that he had been must now new shape in him her joy to embody, to enshrine her beauty and greatness in his house of life. But now his being was too wide for self, his heart's demand had grown immeasurable, his single freedom could not satisfy her light, her bliss, he asked for earth and men. But vain are human power and human love to break earth's seal of ignorance and death. His nature's might seemed now an infant's grasp. Heaven is too high for outstretched hands to seize. This light comes not by struggle or by thought. In the mind's silence, the transcendent acts, and the hushed heart hears the unuttered word. A vast surrender was his only strength. A power that lives upon the heights must act, bring into life's closed door the immortal air and fill the finite with the infinite. Words of our Divine Mother taken from the collective works of our Divine Mother book. Words of the Divine Mother Part 2. Topic: The Divine Hell. Our Divine Mother says, whenever there is sincerity and goodwill, the Divine's help also is there. Be ever one-pointed in your surrender and sincere in your aspiration, and you will constantly feel the presence of the Divine's help and guidance. With the Divine's help, nothing is impossible. For nobody would sadhana be possible without the Divine's help. but the help is always there. Our Divine Mother says, Our Divine Mother says, the help is always there. It is you who must keep your receptivity living. The divine help is much vaster than what any human being is able to receive. Those who will be able to become receptive by the mastery of the psychic upon the ego will know what this help is and will have the full benefit of it. Everyone is given his chance and the help is there for all, but for each the benefit is proportionate to his sincerity. Divine's help, modest in appearance, powerful in action. Our Divine Mother says, have a steady faith in the divine grace. Continue to have full faith in the divine's grace, will and action, and all will be all right. All depends on the intensity of the faith and the firmness of the right attitude. The grace is always with you, says our Divine Mother. Concentrate in your heart with a silent mind, and you are sure also to receive the guidance and the help you aspire for. The grace and the help are always there for all those who aspire for them. Their power is limitless when received with faith and confidence. A Divine Mother says the grace is always there, ready to act, but you must let it work, not resist its action. The one condition required is faith. When you feel attacked, call for help to Sri Aurobindo and myself. If your call is sincere, if you sincerely want to be cured, your call will be answered and the grace will cure you. Yes, faith in the grace always brings about its intervention. For the grace, you have to have a perfect and total result of its action. The faith must be total and perfect. Once more, the lack of faith of the human mind brings complications and pain, where, with a quiet faith in the divine guidance, all could be very simple and easy. It is for the growth of this faith and confidence I have been working for many years. Obviously, the resistance is obstinate. Why disappointing? If there is 1 in 100 who have a true faith, it is already a miracle. Our Divine Mother says, the grace will never fail us. Such is the faith we must constantly have in our heart. It is our lack of faith that creates our limitations. The divine grace is with us and never leaves us even when the appearances are dark. The Supreme's power is infinite. It is our faith that is small. At each moment of our life, in all circumstances, the grace is there, helping us to surmount all difficulties. In failure as well as in success, the divine's grace is always there. The closer you come to the divine, the more you live under a shower of overwhelming evidence of His immeasurable grace. Our faith in the omnipotence of the grace is never equal to what the grace itself is. An absolute faith and trust in the grace is, in the last analysis, the supreme wisdom. Through this apparent chaos, a new and better order is formed, but to see it, one must have the faith in the divine grace. Question, sweet mother, in the present growing conflicts, what should be our attitude? Our Divine Mother says, faith and total confidence in the divine's grace. It is when all seems lost. It is when all seems lost that all can be saved. When you have lost confidence in your personal power, then you should have the faith in the divine grace. At the very moment when everything seems to go from bad to worse, it is then that we must make a supreme act of faith and know that the grace will never fail us. Our Divine Mother says, act according to your inner conviction, regardless of all consequences, and keep faith unshaken in spite of the apparent so-called proofs to the contrary. Surely all this comes to teach us a quiet faith that what is truly needed we shall have, and that for the rest we must not bother. In the final analysis, says our Divine Mother, everything really depends on the divine grace, and we should look at the future with confidence and serenity, progressing at the same time as quickly as we can. In an ardent faith lies salvation. In the final analysis, it is the Supreme Lord who does all. We must be faithful instruments. Have faith and unshaken confidence. The divine grace will do the rest. Let us offer our will to the divine grace. It is the grace that accomplishes all. The grace alone can act. That alone can open the way. That alone can do the miracle. Our Divine Mother says, keep good faith in the grace. She is the doer of all miracles. We must learn to rely only on the divine grace and to call for its help in all circumstances. Then it will work constant miracles. However long the journey may be, however great the traveler, at the end is always found exclusive reliance on the divine grace. The divine grace alone shall be our support. ततः परम ब्रह्म परम विहन्तम यथा निकायं सर्वभूतेषु गूढम् तस्मात् तमेव शरणम् ॐ विश्वस्यैकं परिवेष्टितारमेष तं ज्ञात्वा हमितां भवन्ति वन्दे वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियं वन्दे वरदं वन्दे शिवं वन्दे श्री अरविन्दम् तस्मात् तमेव मम शरणम् तस्मात् तमेव मम शरणम् मीरा मम शरणम्. Our Divine Mother says, the grace is infinite for him who sincerely trusts the grace. The divine grace is always with you, and by your trust, you allow its action to be effective. It is in proportion to our trust in the divine that the divine grace can act for us and help. Integral trust in the divine, it's the trust that gives the total and true support to life. Our trust in the divine must not depend upon outward circumstances. Very few are those who stand firm on the rock of their faith and trust in the divine. Our Divine Mother says, it is absurd to ask for help and yet to have no trust. On the contrary, with confidence, everything becomes so easy. With trust in the divine's grace, all obstacles can be surmounted. When we trust in the divine's grace, we get an unfailing courage. Have full trust in the divine's grace, and the divine's grace will help you always. Our Divine Mother says, like the child who does not reason, has no care, trust thyself to the Divine, that His will may be done. Whatever happens, we must remain quiet and trust the Divine's grace. Keep a cool head, strong and very quiet nerves, and a complete trust in the Divine grace. Aspiration for trust in the Divine, an intense need for that immutable peace given by the certitude of the Divine grace. Nothing can be compared to the peace that comes from a total trust in the grace. Leave all care to the Divine's grace, including your progress, and you will be in peace, says our Divine Mother. Next subtopic, the Divine Grace and Difficulties. Our Divine Mother says it is only by remaining perfectly peaceful and calm with an unshakable confidence and faith in the Divine grace that you will allow circumstances to be as good as they can be. The very best happens always to those who have put their entire trust in the Divine and in the Divine alone. When in your life you meet with a hardship, take it as a grace from the Lord, and indeed it will become so. In any case, whatever happens, consider events as a gift from the Divine grace which is leading you by swift paths towards the spiritual goal of your life. What can be done will be done, but it is a matter of regret that you waited so long for the warning. In any case, the only thing which is really effective is to will what the Divine wills, to keep an unshakable confidence in the supreme compassion of the Divine grace. For through that it is always the best that happens, not the best according to the human ideals, but the best according to the supreme truth. Be calm and full of a solid and pure faith. Our Divine Mother says, all depends on what you want. If you want yoga, take all that happens as the expression of the Divine grace leading you towards your goal, and try to understand the lesson that circumstances give. For those who have given themselves to the Divine, each difficulty that confronts them is the assurance of a new progress, and thus must be taken as a gift from the grace. When difficulties besiege you, says our Divine Mother, when difficulties besiege you, know that the Divine grace is with you. People believe that the grace means making everything smooth for all your life. It is not true. The grace works for the realization of your aspiration, and everything is arranged to gain the most prompt and the quickest realization. Our Divine Mother says the grace is something that pushes you towards the goal to be attained. Do not try to judge it by your mind, you will get nowhere, because it is something formidable which is not explained through human words or feelings. When the grace acts, the result may or may not be pleasant. It takes no account of any human value. It may even be a catastrophe from the ordinary and superficial point of view, but it is always the best for the individual. It is a blow that the Divine sends so that progress may be made by leaps and bounds. The grace is that which makes you march swiftly towards the realization. Of one thing, says our Divine Mother, we must be convinced: all that happens is exactly what must happen in order to lead us and the world as quickly as possible to the goal, the union with the Divine, and ultimately the manifestation of the Divine. And this faith, sincere and constant, is at once our help and protection.